Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where for a limited time you can get 2 breakfast croissant sandwiches, Carter, for $6.
Or you can go with my favorite, the old school breakfast combo, $3.99, small coffee, hash brown, and your choice of a good breakfast sandwich.
The Steelers, and really the NFL for the most part, open the season this weekend. I can't take the Browns seriously. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, that's a big mistake, man.
Why?
It's like when you were playing low on Blake Bortles, and I was like, Dejan, hold on a minute, man.
Bortles at me?
I'm telling you, man, don't sleep on these guys. All I'm saying
They're
is
the Browns, Carter.
But they have a lot of new toys right now.
And it's all they are is toys.
But I'm telling you.
They collected football cards. They went out and they got a couple of big names that made everybody think they did something. They didn't actually improve.
And without those football cards, they took the Steelers to the wire last year at the season opener.
Because the Steelers did sleepwalk through the first 3 quarters of that game. And once the Steelers went, whoa, they looked at the scoreboard and said, let's get this done, and then they did.
I think the biggest thing was Ben Roethlisberger late in the game saw Antonio Brown. He said, I'm just going to force it there, and he made an amazing play. I think the biggest thing is Roethlisberger has to come out and be ready for Greg Williams to be throwing everything at him and not be the guy that was waiting for his first read to open up, much like he did through most of that first game, much of the first half of the season last year. He stays away from that kind of trouble. I think the Steelers will be good.
I think the biggest thing is that the offensive coordinator at the time will now be on the other sideline.
That'll be interesting.
Because now you're going to have an actual structure, a plan, imagination, and everything else. I can't wait, Carter, to see what Ben and Randy Feetner have in store for Steelers fans on Sunday. Reason number 1 to not take the Browns seriously, at least from this perspective, is that they're the Browns, and they've won 1 out of their last 32 games. Reason number 2, even they don't know about their own offensive line. I'm not talking about like their expectations of it.
What you mean.
They don't know who's lining up in Joe Thomas's place. They're going to have a rookie next to whoever does line up in Joe Thomas's place. You show me a football team that doesn't have a clue about its offensive line, and I'll show you a football team that's about to get destroyed.
I do think that's a major advantage the Steelers are going to be looking to use to exploit in this game. They're going to be moving their players around. Keith Butler's been styling this defense to have multiple people load the box so you can never guess, is Terrell Edmonds blitzing, is Sean Davis blitzing, is Mike Hilton blitzing, is Vince Williams blitzing, and have all those options.
They don't even know who's playing what position,
Exactly.
let alone who's blitzing here.
Again,
you're going over their heads.
I'm not saying that the Browns are going to win. I'm saying that to sleep on these guys because ultimately they still have a lot. What am I ducking? What am I
the
ducking?
Offensive line point that I'm making here. You're bringing it back to don't sleep on these guys. You're giving me cliches. We're talking about a specific football thing here. They don't have an offensive line. They don't even know who their guys are. They're going to chase Tyrod Taylor right into the lake.
I think that's the biggest thing that the Steelers have on their side is that they can confuse the offensive line. They're still going to be gelling and figuring things out.
They're gelling on the first Sunday of the season.
But that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to do all that. However, they still have weapons. Jarvis Landry and Josh Gordon are both dangerous men with the ball in their hands. They're going to have to find ways to make sure Tyrod Taylor can't get it to them early enough.
Well, one good way to make sure that a receiver doesn't have the ball in his hands is to make sure that Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback.
Oh, that's bad.
He wants to take the Browns seriously.
I take every NFL opponent seriously. That is the golden rule.
That doesn't explain why you would take the Browns seriously.
Because right now, it's the same factor that every NFL team brings when they have a lot of new pieces and you don't know what they're about to look like.
Jarvis Landry and Josh Gordon are, as you said, when they have the ball in their hands.
When they have the ball in their hands.
Threats. Now, that's a heck of an asterisk with Taylor at quarterback.
I don't think it's that much of an asterisk. Taylor isn't a great quarterback, but he's also not a bad quarterback. What he did in Buffalo was he would keep the ball in their possession, let them work the ball down the field, and take the smart throws often and extend the play with his feet.
Who took his job in Buffalo?
Well, they tried to give it to Nathan Peterman.
Oh, they did try to give it to Nathan Peterman.
And then he threw 5 interceptions, and you saw how bad things were.
In about 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes. But that's my point.
This was the guy who succeeded Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo.
But this is my point about Tyrod Taylor. Or Tyrod Taylor, as we learned in Hard Knocks. But Taylor's big thing is if you saw how poor the Buffalo Bills were as soon as he was brought out, and he still found a way to fight their way to the playoffs for the first time, and who knows how
through him.
But it was a combination of him, LaShawn McCoy, making sure the offense was competing, the defense was able to make plays here and there.
The Bills' best player in getting them to the playoffs was Andy Dalton. Don't forget that.
I mean, yes, they threw the man. They gave the man free wings for life. I think as far as
he got a standing O when he went back for the preseason game.
That had to be really the most awkward situation for him.
It's awesome.
It's so weird. Like, and he's sitting there like,
yeah. He's like, what do I do?
Right. I'm like, I guess I can take this credit for this, but no. But my thing is this: Tyrod Taylor. He's not the guy that's going to kill you, but he's the guy that can keep his team alive by not making the big mistakes. The Steelers, again, they get the pressure.
The Steelers will
force
get the
him
pressure.
to be aggressive.
They will force mistakes. My discussions with the Steelers defensive guys this week suggest that they want to make him constantly do the opposite of what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. That's a different mindset for a football defender because you're getting back there. You're not necessarily going to get your hands on the guy because he is too quick.
Right.
However, if you make him make one turn this way or look away from his first target as a receiver, you've already achieved something.
Moving them
Whether
off the
you
launch
get a
point.
QH for it in the stats book or
That
not,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're going to do that, Carter. They're going to get back there. You know why? Because the Browns don't even know who is on their offensive line
Biggest thing,
yet.
get a quarterback off his launch point. If you're not Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Ben Roethlisberger or one of those guys, then that's when you see them start to struggle and the wheels start to turning. And when wheels start turning, that's when the other guys start chasing you a little bit more.
The player who will rise up the most on Sunday, it can't be Taylor. Don't be giving me this Brown stuff. The player on the Steelers side
I wasn't going
will
there.
rise up the most on the Pittsburgh side.
I think it's going to be Terrell Edmonds in his first NFL start.
Really?
I think this guy's going to be moving about the field. He's going to get a little bit comfortable, and also because of this. Like we've been talking about, I think the Steelers' front seven is going to be the key to this game. Them generating pressure, confusing Tyrod Taylor, forcing him to throw a little bit early. Edmonds has the speed and the burst to run with guys across the field. One thing that the Browns love to do, they love to put Jarvis Landry in motion. You saw it all preseason. If you saw it, they like to do it. They like to do it a little bit last year with other receivers. You're going to see Jarvis Landry go in motion, getting those plays. That's when Terrell Edmonds is going to have to jump up. Hey, I got this guy, or Mike Hilton's going to have to get this guy. But I think Edmonds is going to be the player that helps against the run the most from the secondary, but also makes some of those plays in the passing game. I'm looking for this guy to get at least one interception and about 3 or 4 tackles in this game.
I feel obligated now to go to the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to go with Jesse James.
Okay.
I think that Ben has looked at the playbook that, of course, as we know, was just really, it's just basically been, dry erased much more than it has been rewritten or revamped.
I got you.
And we saw late last season that he wanted to go more to Vance McDonald. He wanted that tight end weapon. He wanted somebody over the middle, and he wants somebody that he can trust whenever things aren't necessarily at their sharpest. So if you go back to last season's opener up there in Cleveland, that even though they were playing the Browns, the Steelers did struggle to move the ball on any kind of consistent basis, in part because I think they were trying to force it to Le'Veon. That obviously won't be an issue this weekend. Ben, I think, is going to be looking for that outlet valve, and it's not just going to be 84, 84, 84.
But don't forget that the guy that caught 2 touchdowns last year, that opening game was
Juju, yeah.
No, Jesse James.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were going to talk about in the closing game when Juju.
Oh, no, sorry. I was talking about in the
Juju
game
was
opener.
he was just a
Juju
a
went
world
ballistic in that.
beater against the Browns.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Ben and Fichtner, and I'm going to keep pairing those two together, by the way, because I'm not sure they're going to be separable in terms of describing the offensive coordinator. I think you're going to see those guys look to come out and define themselves early through passing. It's going to be their way of saying, much more so than just handing the ball to James, meaning James Conner this time, repeatedly and saying, here we are, we're the 1975 Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're going to show you how to. He's going to come out and throw the ball, and Jesse James is going to be.
What did we talk about all preseason with how confident the young quarterbacks looked and how Randy Fichtner was putting them in positions to make the reads and be aggressive and take the shots?
And look what they did in the game against Carolina, the preseason game. When they showed themselves, it was because he finally, in that last preseason game, where they just throw everything to the wind, just said, just go, just throw it, throw it.
Now give Ben Roethlisberger his offensive line and his weapons. I think that's a good situation for Randy Fichtner to be in.
The Steelers are going to win it by like 20.
I'll give him 17.
17 it is.